Thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Repa Radio and Africa Independent Television, AIT. My name is Amechi Anapwe. Now, political parties intensify preparations for Nigeria's 2027 general election. Another familiar challenge is resurfacing with growing intensity, that is anti-party activities. Is not strange to us. Now, across the political grievances are rising from party primaries, leadership disputes, zoning controversies, and the struggle for political relevance are leaving many party faithful dissatisfied and increasingly alienated, while some aggrieved politicians have openly threatened to work against their own parties during elections. Others are expected to do so quietly, remaining within the party but doing the damage underground, secretly mobilizing for support for rival candidates or undermining their party's electoral chances by sometimes revealing parties' strategies and secrets to other parties. Such internal sabotage has become a recurring feature of Nigeria's electoral politics, often proving more damaging than attacks from the opposition. It is said that the enemy within is more dangerous than the one you know from outside. Adding another layer of complexity is the allegation that some political opponents deliberately infiltrate rival parties by sponsoring or encouraging loyalists to create confusion, fuel internal crises, and frustrate reconciliation efforts and weaken the party from within. The strategy, if successful, can leave a party deeply divided, wounded also, long before voters cast their vote. On Political Platform today, we will examine the growing threat of anti-party activities ahead of the 2027 general election, the motivations behind political disloyalty, its implications for party cohesion and democratic stability, and what parties, electoral institutions, and stakeholders must do to safeguard the integrity of Nigeria's democratic process. Our guest today is someone who has been accused of anti-party within his own party, George Turnah, the zonal secretary of the People's Democratic Parties in the South-South geopolitical zone, will join us virtually. Before then, we will examine a development that took place in the National Assembly this week, where some senators have suddenly started speaking up against the non-implementation of budgets in Nigeria. The latest is Senator Tahir Munguno, who questions the federal government's poor budget implementation, despite improved revenue performance, arguing that failure to execute appropriation acts amount to breach of the law and is an impeachable offense. He spoke during a Senate engagement with the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, and some other top government officials. Not too long ago, Senator Garuba Meidoki also raised similar issues, raising threats of the dangers of non-implementation of the budget. Before we get to all this, colleagues are with me, Ujweje, Shola Jasimi, and Mustafa Mohammed. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to our listeners and our viewers.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yes, and good morning from Shola also.
Good morning.
Yes.
So if you want us to weigh in on this, we could do that.
Yes,
right?
but I want us to take a listen. We have two sound bites we'll be sharing with you. The first, the engagement between Senator Tahir Munguno and the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, that happened this week, where the senator raised issues and concerns about the lack of budget implementation. Let's take a listen.
If we have exceeded the target of our revenue collection, it is inherently contradictory for government to woefully fail to implement the budget. Where are this revenue going to? If the budget For example, 2025 budget has not been implemented. And we have to roll over 70% of 2025 to 2026. And that with the promise that 30% will be implemented before March. Up to March, even 30% was not implemented. National Assembly has to extend the lifespan of the budget up to September to allow government to implement just 30% component of 2025 budget. The issue of 2026 have not arisen completely, has not arisen. Has not even started up in issue. It has not even arisen. So, don't you think is it not contradictory? Or why are these revenues going to the extent that the budget is not being implemented? It is through the implementation of the budget that dividends of democracy is being brought to the doorsteps of this. This is my question. Why is budget not implemented? Because it is a breach of the law and it's an impeachable offense.
When we take our budget, and let's say it's 10 naira, that is the amount we want to spend, including personnel costs, running government, paying debt service, and building infrastructure. It's 10 naira. We look at all our numbers and we say we can generate 6 naira. 6 naira is our revenue target. Our expenditure is 10. If we end up generating revenue of 7 naira, we will say we have exceeded our revenue target. It's not a lie. But we still need 3 naira to balance the budget because we need to spend 10. So this is the reason why both can coexist. Government can exceed revenue target and still have to borrow. And in terms of where the money is going, this is one of the analyses we are working on in the Ministry of Finance. Very soon we're going to be able to release it, putting numbers to it. But
Okay, the senator there, and of course, the Minister of Finance. Before that, Senator Garba Meidoki has also spoken up in strong criticisms of what he called glaring refusal of the executive to implement the budget. Let's take a listen again.
3 years since Tinubu's government, 3 years. 2024, 2025, and now 2026, the budget has not been implemented. He has never implemented a budget. How does a country run without a budget? Or selective financing of project. And we have borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. Where is the money we are borrowing? All the revenue generating agencies in this country told us they have exceeded their target. Where is the money going? If anybody is telling President Tinubu, I have utmost respect for him as a nationalist, as a gentleman. If anybody is telling him all is well, it's lies. The earlier he make effort to correct these imbalances, particularly on implementation of budget, the earlier for him. Otherwise, wallahi, he will live to regret this.
Some form of threats coming from senators who appear to have suddenly woken up from their inactivity.
Appear that they have suddenly woken up, but at all they say, at least they have started doing what they should do. And I would like to say that at this point, it could only have been for two reasons. One, those who were promised tickets and they lost out, and right now it's like they have nothing to lose, so they can really air their views. Exactly. Well, I wouldn't know if you know.
Yes, he lost his ticket.
Okay, so he has nothing to lose right now. He can fire as much as he should ordinarily. And secondly, because the elections are near, and some of them are depending on the promises made before the last elections to be able to secure their seats, you know, during the 2027 election. So if you do not fulfill those promises, if the federal government does not help them to fulfill them, they are in dire straits because their people would question. So this set of people would really want to do what is happening right now. But again, you look at it, it's their responsibility, it's their mandate. They are supposed to serve as a check on the executive. So, and he asked one pertinent question. The monies that we've been borrowing, where are they? We can't see commensurate infrastructure. We can't see commensurate work, things achieved with the monies that we've been borrowing. So where is this money, or where are these monies, and what have they been utilized for? It's a question that Nigerians should ask this government, because we borrowed so much, trillions. We're not seeing anything. It's not as if the roads are smooth. It's not as if new bridges are being built.
You're not seeing the coastal highways, Trans-Sahara,
exactly.
Sokoto, Badagry.
Somehow that one got halfway and it's just there.
We're talking about, it may not be entirely true that the senators are asking these questions because they have lost their ticket. Tahir Manguno is from Borno, and all the National Assembly members from Borno have been returned. They have tickets. People like Kasheo Lawan, Alin Dume, Tahir Manguno, and House of Reps members. It's because of this lack of implementation of budget, which also affected the payments of local contractors, local debts that we have seen for several months. Even during the past Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, that contractors have been promised several times but not been paid. A lot of them have demonstrated at the National Assembly, at the Finance Ministry. So many companies have, especially construction companies, have laid off their staff because these monies have not been coming for 2-3 years. So the onus actually stops at the doorstep of the Minister of Finance, who was trying to use technical terms at the hearing to defend government's position. Like the senators asked, the FIRS, customs and others have all exceeded their revenue target. So what have you done with all the money? There have been massive borrowing to which the National Assembly have never said no to the federal government. Where are all these dollars being borrowed going to? When you don't implement budget, the number one kick is against the GDP, against the economy. When the monies at the top does not trickle down for the micro and small and medium sector, will definitely, let me give you, if you are constructing houses, for example, the plumber, the carpenter, the mason, the cement dealer, the person selling nail, the paint vendor, the transporter, the money trickles down. In the United States of America and China, for example, if they are talking about lack of jobs, they will start flagging massive constructions of roads, skyscrapers, and whatever, so that the monies will trickle down. People will be captured in the statistics of jobs and income. So I start asking this finance minister, if he is not capable of running the show, I think he should throw in the towel and allow one other capable person to come in.
Well, is it only Taiwo Oyedele who came in recently that should throw in the towel? I disagree. The executive and the legislature, especially the Senate, have been in bed for a long time. They have been on the same bed. You know, one will use the duvet, they cover themselves, everybody is fine. I go back to the main issue Drew and Mustafa raised. I'll take it from two perspectives. Maybe, just maybe, Senator Munguno is speaking out now that he has gotten his own ticket to continue in the National Assembly. I think this should be the 7th time. He was in House of Reps for about 3 terms, then he became a senator in 2015. Maybe he has gotten his own ticket. Now he can talk. Before he didn't talk on such things in the chamber.
You think it's safe for him to speak up now?
Probably, although I don't know whether his name has been loaded, because now we know the party...
It's been uploaded.
And they can re-upload it.
There's room for substitution, but it's difficult without the thumbs up of the candidate upload.
But it's also good to note that Monguno has always been an outspoken one. I would not see him from the House of Reps to the Senate.
Okay.
He has never been one to just sit back and cross his arms. He's been chairman of very sensitive committees, the committees on the judiciary and all of that. He has always spoken up. At least he's one person Nigerians can count on.
Yeah, so what has he spoken up about? We are talking specifically now about funding for this country. So we can go back and check his pronouncements on this particular issue of borrowing. Mustafa emphasized. And he said the same senators are the ones saying carry go for the executive for the huge sums that they have borrowed. Go and check the votes. Munguno will be among those who said, yeah, let us give the money.
The eyes have it.
Yeah, so we need to be very, very open about this thing.
Whether you're specific or not, the eyes general.
So that's for Munguno. For Meidoki, I think that's the pronunciation. Meidoki. You can see, even on the floor now, he's talking to people. Let journalists come, I want to talk. But he wasn't doing that.
He has found his voice.
He
lost it. Did he lose it at some point?
Well, I don't know, but the thing was this. He's one of the senators who got into the Senate in this 2019 or is it 2023
under the PDP.
On the PDP's platform. And they were enticed. Decamp. He decamped and
like
they did the Ojoro for this rock, they pulled it under his feet and he started talking. So he has just said, look, I will say all what I need to say since I'm not coming back to this chamber. So
there's nothing to lose again.
Nothing to lose.
He that is down needs fear of no fall.
So they need to be very sincere on both sides. The senators need to be sincere. The executive branch, they also need to be sincere. Because like I said, they've been on the same bed. The duvet, they've covered it very well.
Okay.
So the key point is this. Our leaders must just be very open to the Nigerian people. When we have a National Assembly with leadership who say anything the president wants, he will get. I said it a couple of days ago. So all this one we are saying.
What they call Tazaruche. In Hausa.
Can you go? Yes. So what we are doing is to conscientize them. To encourage them, to let them realize that, look, one day, posterity will ask you questions. Huge funds. They've done some projects, but commensurate to the funding.
Now, the issues, and you have already put them on the table very succinctly. The 2024 budget not implemented, barely up to 20%. Contractors that did work for the federal government since then have been old. Some of them have died. Some of their businesses have crumbled. And as we speak, going into 2027, they are yet to be paid. Government says they don't have money. Now, the National Assembly that passed that budget, what did they do when the same executive came back in 2025 with another budget? Did they request for performance report of the budget? By law, there should be quarterly performance report submitted to the National Assembly by the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Minister of Finance, and Budget Office. These reports didn't come. They kept quiet because perhaps there is a party thing. 2026 budget came. They didn't ask for the implementation report of 2024 and 2025. They also passed it because the president wanted it. And all of a sudden, they have woken up because according to them, they have put it on the table. FIRS exceeding targets, getting more revenue. Customs service exceeding targets, getting more revenue. More taxes coming. Subsidies being withdrawn. More money for the government. Some governors saying, "Oh, this president has given us so much that we don't know what to do with the money."
They are all building
and we are borrowing so much.
Thank you. On top of that, you're still borrowing heavily, tripling what Buhari did in 8 years in under 3 years, tripling it. But yet, we can't implement budget. And the senators were asking that critical question. Where is the money? The Minister of Finance has promised to come out with figures, attach money to project, so that Nigerians will understand. And it shouldn't have come at now. These are things that should come on quarterly basis, so that we know how they
can be carried along. Yes.
Our money is good enough. They have accepted to do that, and we'll wait for them to do that. Never late than never. So it's good that some members of the National Assembly have woken up. Going to another issue now, our main issue for the anti-party activities. It's not new in the country, and it's already playing out. I guess would come in to offer perspectives because he was accused of anti-party activities and all that. But he survived.
Was accused or he did?
He was accused. He will defend himself when we bring him in. Talking of George Turnah, who is joining us live. But let's share this footage with you. One incident that happened in Abuja concerning Ebonyi State. Some supporters of Governor Nwifu organized a rally for the APC members of the state in Abuja. In that rally, because of what we are hearing, that because of some internal struggles in Ebonyi State, some of the governor's men got their tickets to return to the National Assembly. This apparently didn't go down well with the governor. So he pushed some of his people into another party, ABGA. And it's not restricted to Ebonyi State. It happens elsewhere. If you feel the powers that be have taken over a party, you push your men to other parties. And when that rally in Abuja held, we saw some people with APC flags who also saw ABGA flags. And so some kind of confusion ensued. Let's take a listen to concerns raised by Senator Nwebonyi, who was not happy that ABGA signals, emblem were flying all over APC's rally in Abuja.
Now, I want to make observation. I will here for APC rally. Why is somebody putting ABGA here? If the organizer fail to remove it, we'll end this rally here. If the organizers fail to remove ABGA, Bolivia, I will delete this rally. We are not here to do anti-party. We will not repeat to what we did in 2023. Whenever you promise the table and vote, but the voted for another party. And the voting is happening now. Let the country know that we are not anti-party. God is very low.
So they try to force out the ABGA shirt, Adon shirt that one of the people that attended the rally in Abuja was putting up. We told you have a guest to weigh in, but before we meet with him, let my colleagues have a quick mention of this.
Amechi, leave Senator Nwebonyi. It's their game. Politicians play this game in every election. Once the situation does not serve their own interest, they play this game. Even the challenge of, that he put to those who were wearing ABGA T-shirts might be a script itself. So that because, this is the seat of the presidency and APC is also watching what is happening. So it may have been...
indict the governor?
No, it might be a script as if, let it not be that we did not question, so that they won't say, we supported everything that is happening. It's their game. They know how they play this thing. So he shouldn't show any surprise. And maybe he too is in on it.
So, Shola Jasimi, there's a part also apparently between the Devo Mare camp and the Nwifu, that's the governor's camp. My
take on this is politicians will do whatever they want to do to remain relevant. If it's to put the finger in the eye of their benefactor, they will do it. If it's for a former boss who brought up a political godson to continue to step on that godson, he will do it. So it's about interests. So Ebonyi is just an example of what happens in so many other states, because the way that gentleman, the young senator, was smiling over the whole thing, I said, these politicians, they will not make us. So I always look at not a few of them, because I'm not in politics, as people you need to deal with some little tact. If you run with everything a politician says, then you
may be misled. Mustafa Mohammed.
You remember Wobodo and Ebano?
Yes, Chimaroke Naman, godfather and godson. Another scenario playing out in Benue State. Senator George Akume had to use his Abuja connections to overturn some primaries in Benue State, where Governor Alia's candidate won. After some peace moves were brokered, some of his candidates were brought back. Benue State will be interested. We don't know whether Governor Alia was able to push in some of his men into other parties. Perhaps it was too late for him to do so.
Maybe I'll quickly start from Ebonyi. You know, you cannot be, for Umahi and his camp, he's no longer a governor, and he cannot be a godfather or party leader forever. Other interests will always move in, especially the young generation. But coming to Benue State, George Akume is not a wish-away politician that you can just wave with the back of hand. He's a grassroots politician, a governor for 8 years, and currently the SGF. I still recall many times when the vice president continued to say at public fora that George Akume and Governor Alia should reconcile their differences for the sake of the party, election, and the state. But you see, the various interests can come together. But where the mistake happened, not just in Benue State, but in several other APC states, was when the president gave note to the governors to handle the issue of screening. And then primaries. What the governors did is to push out people whose faces they don't like. They try to, by force...
The Abuja politics.
Yes, they screen out those they felt are not their loyalists or they cannot control or trust. But you see, one thing about the democratic issue is that you cannot be there as a power broker forever. Where are those governors who became governors in 1999 and ruled till 2007? I saw some of them last December. They look very weak. They look very irrelevant.
But some of them are still relevant. Solomon Tinubu has remained most relevant.
No, I'm talking about a few that I made. And then it's like a barrack. They say in the local parlance, soldier go, soldier come. But if you allow a wide space for everybody to participate, let the winners win, let the losers lose without the undue influence and interference. We're not going to have the kind of crisis that we are going to have. And it will definitely affect some of them, because those who are forced out have supporters. They will do anti-party. You cannot rule that.
Let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll meet with our guests to stay with us.
Oh, Nigeria, you asked for it, now you have it. The ongoing nationwide continuous voter registration exercise has been extended to Sunday, 26th of July, 2026.
It gets better. From Wednesday, the 8th of July, you can now start and finish your registration using your smart devices from wherever you are. Simply visit cvr.inecnigeria.org to complete the process, including your biometrics.
No more queue, no unnecessary travel, just a simple, secure, and convenient registration process.
Remember, the physical registration option is still available at all INEC state, local government offices, and designated centers.
Your power to vote just got stronger. Register now.
This message is brought to you by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Making your vote count, consolidating our democracy.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's welcome our guest, George Turnah, a Zonal Secretary for the South-South of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. He joins us virtually from Yenagoa in Bayelsa State. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Turnah. So I can see your all smiles. It seems you have you have it all going good for you at this time. So I remember some of the political challenges, some called it persecution that you faced. But with regards to what Amechi said at the top of the program, are you among those who are PDP in the afternoon but APC at night?
Well, I think I was going to address that. I have been PDP as a young boy since 1999, as a young secondary school student, and up to this moment.
Go on. Go ahead.
Yeah, and up to this moment, I have been very steadfast and very committed. I've never been involved in any anti-party activity, as it were, and I've never been also accused of any anti-party. In fact, the records are there. The PDP has won every election available in my ward, in my units, and all of it. So it is not correct. It is not correct to say that I have been involved in anti-party. Maybe except.
We have lost him momentarily. We hope to have him back. He has denied the allegations that he was involved in anti-party.
No, I think his own problem is more of the factions within the PDP. Has been in the PDP, but the two factions, I think he fell out with his SY principal because that one believed that he betrayed him and went to the other faction. So his case is not a matter of two different parties, but the same parties, two factions.
Okay, that's some people will tell you that PDP does not have faction. That names have been uploaded and all that. But the Taminu Turaki group always say, we are still there because the case is still in court and all that. We'll make efforts to get our guests back on.
Definitely. Let me tell you one typical characteristics about the politicking and the Nigerian politician. Most times people put a lot of time, energy, resources into the politicking. And then suddenly some people take advantage of some weaknesses or some advantages they have to throw you out or sideline you. With all the resources a politician has committed, most of them will be angry with their supporters, and they'll find moments or plan for time when they are going to hit back.
Okay.
Can you hear us, George?
Hello, Mr. Turnah, can you hear us now?
Yes, yeah, I'm with you.
What is the best option for a politician when
as I was saying, I have never been involved in anti-party. And if you recall, after we lost elections at the center in 2015, a lot of our leaders of this of our party started leaving to the ruling party, but we stayed back. In fact, even in the face of obvious persecution, we stayed back. I am the only PDP member of the PDP in a well-paying federal appointment that resigned after Jonathan lost the presidency. I resigned from office, and I gave as part of my reasons to have time to join forces to rebuild the PDP, and I left. I was in the NDDC, I left, and I stood firm, joined in helping to galvanize the second-term election of Governor Dixon against the APC and the federal might at the time. And we won that election, and we have continued to retain Bielsa strongly for the PDP. Up to recently that, the governor and some others have just freely taken a mandate that we have all suffered to keep this state as a PDP state.
elsewhere, and we'll get it back. So I've been a strong PDP person up to the very last elections. The PDP have never lost any election in my ward, and we remain very strong.
Let me ask you this question, Turnah. With the factionalizing and many of your PDP members joining the APC and running to ADC, NDC, and what have you, do you think the PDP can make any significant feat or mark like it had in the future from 15, 20 years ago, now that the 2027 election is approaching very fast?
Well, then again, in being very sincere with you, it can never be as good as we would have expected. Politics is about numbers, and you know that elections in Nigeria is run on structure. So if the PDP had, for instance, 10,000 leaders who could stand their grounds at their various localities and push through mobilizations and ensure that the party wins election in maybe 10,000 polling units, and then because of crisis, that number shrinks to about 5,000. You definitely, of course, will agree that there is some level of weakness. But let me say that the real strength of the PDP lies with the people at the grassroots. The crisis we have had is holistic. At the top, where people have struggled for control of party structure. And of course, it's normal. I keep telling people, politics itself is conspiracy of the few for control of resources and power. So it's normal to scrabble, belong to cliques, have conspiracy groups and all of that. But the important thing is that the interest of the party at all times should always supersede. And that is why we felt that, look, after all these whole struggles and fights and all of that, it is time to come together and strengthen our ranks and build this party and bounce back. We may not be in a position to win every election. That is the clear fact. To run presidential election is not a tea party, as it were. Of course, you heard from former President Jonathan recently. But the PDP can stay alive.
All right, Mr. Turnah.
Top nationals.
Mr. Turnah.
Win a number of seats at the National Assembly and stay alive.
Yes, Mr. Turnah.
Yes.
Mr. Turnah, you are complaining that the PDP has certainly lost a greater part of its strength in Bayelsa. But some people would...
Not really Bayelsa, nationwide.
Nationwide, okay. Even in Bayelsa, of course, you will accept that.
Even in Bayelsa, of course.
Exactly, but a lot of fingers will point at you for that development. If you remember how you fell off with your SY principal when you went for the Benin meeting, and then when you came back, you organized the pro-Wike rallies that didn't go down well with other leaders of the party. So in a way, you have contributed to whatever has befallen the PDP in Bayelsa.
No, not in whatever has befallen the PDP. I have been steadfast in ensuring that the PDP remains alive and strong in Bayelsa State. You know you are almost part of us, and you know a bit of our story here. Recall that in the build-up to the second term of my Governor Diri, what we had in Bayelsa was almost like a coalition. We had a lot of the APC leaders, if you want to be sincere, a lot of APC leaders who worked with us and worked for us and worked for the PDP in seeing that Governor Diri was re-elected. So for us, it was about the survival of Bayelsa State and our development at that time. And even after the election, you recall that when Governor Diri constituted his cabinet, he had a lot of APC members who were also appointed into the cabinet. So when we say, look, we are supporting, we are building up support for the Tinubu-led presidency. I didn't see any issue that should have
But you have a presidential candidate, and that takes us back to the issue
people misunderstand
of anti-party.
People misunderstand. I never, at the time, how could anybody, elections have not started, campaigns have not opened up, primaries were not yet, INEC had not released anything. So how will anybody say that we were playing anti-party to support another party? We said we have a president. This president has done well for us in Bayelsa. Even did well in allowing not to have a free and fair election that returned Governor Diri. And we said, look, let us support this president to succeed in office. That was all we were saying.
Now you have a candidate. PDP has a candidate.
Can we get it clearly?
Yes.
Can we get it clearly?
Yes.
Our position at the time when we had that pro-VK and Tinubu rally,
yes,
under the new associate platform,
yes,
was to drum up support in appreciation to a government at the center that has done so well. And I am vindicated. The governor himself, in his defection, alluded to those claims that, look, this president has done so much
that he is going to join him.
All of that.
Okay, that was then.
Me to say that I contributed, to any challenge.
No, but the crisis that is generated and a bit of bloodshed.
No, not at all. Not at all. We are, rather we have stayed steadfast, remain steadfast, to ensure that the PDP, in any case, that have done so much for us, gave us a vice president, an acting president, and eventually got Nigeria to elect an Ijoma, a Bayelsa, to be president of this country.
So what is your position now? That was there you described. Now, candidates' names have been uploaded for presidential, vice presidential, and National Assembly members. That of governorship and state houses of assembly and deputy governorship have been uploaded. Will the PDP you belong to support your presidential candidate against that of Bola Tinubu in 2027?
We voted for our presidential candidate at the primaries. It's a product of our votes.
Sandy,
why won't we support him?
Senator Sandy.
We have a presidential candidate, a very competent presidential candidate.
So you work for him?
One who is very eminently qualified. I've traversed through the executive, the legislature. It comes with a lot of experience. And we are ready to go as a party.
Will you work for him? For his emergence, for his victory?
I have boasted there that the PDP have never lost any election in my ward. I am not ready I am not ready now to break that record. Have I said anything? We have a candidate. Today, we have a candidate. If we don't have tomorrow, it's another thing. If party leaders tomorrow decide we're on the way to go, we all move. We are loyal party members. But as of today, distinguished Senator Sandy Ono is our presidential candidate.
Okay, what about your other candidates? The senatorial candidates for the senatorial seat, the House of Reps, the State House of Assembly. How do you think they would fare, particularly with the fact that power has somewhat shifted?
Speaking specifically with respect to Bayelsa,
yes,
I can tell you that Bayelsa remains PDP. PDP is Bayelsa.
Are you sure?
We have fielded candidates in all elective positions, all 24 House of Assembly seats, all 5 House of Reps seats, and the 3 senatorial seats. We have fielded candidates, Bayelsans who have distinguished themselves in their various fields of endeavor, and we are ready to go. If you had watched clips during our primaries, you will understand that the PDP is still a home party in Bayelsa here.
We watched the primaries of the other parties too, and we saw people backing them serious. And you know that power really shifted in Bayelsa.
That the PDP, is having any issue in Bayelsa. The people decide. And I can tell you, we are going to win convincingly all election votes at the state Assembly and National Assembly.
We'll see how that plays out. But let's get your...
Let's choose National Assembly member. We may not win everything.
Let's get your thoughts.
We are in contention.
Let's get your thoughts on the issue of anti-party activities. You've been a politician for a long time now. How has it affected our democratic experiment?
Okay, so the first thing is that politics is an interest-based game. And in our own client, we have chosen to operate a party-based kind of politics. So political parties are the vehicles. We also agree that interests, when they align, people can come together, even within the same political party. But when political parties that are expected to operate as a platform for all members to be able to pursue their ambition becomes in itself partisan. For instance, the NWC of a political party is expected to operate like an umpire. Like what we had in the PDP, where the NWC became compromised and became an interested party, you know, in a conflict that should have been among contending members. Then you have people, align their interests here and there. And in any case, political alignment is a normal in politics. So people are not able to differentiate or define the thin line between political alignment where interests align and anti-party. For instance, when PDP held sway, during President Jonathan, let me not go too far, we had a lot of parties adopt our presidential candidate. APGA was one of those parties that adopted the PDP presidential candidate. Even in our PDP government, when we had the governorship elections like in Edo, when Governor Adams Oshomole was seeking second term, and when Governor Peter Obi also was seeking second term in Anambra, the PDP government at the center gave support, leanings to some of these incumbent governors to return. It didn't mean that PDP at the time didn't have candidates for governorship in those elections. Very recently, Governor Doyediri's second term election, the APC government at the center completely aligned with our interest here for Governor Diri to have a second term. So sometimes political interests and alignments can happen. They are not necessarily anti-party. Anti-party is deliberate orchestration when there is no cause and you are entrusted with responsibility by your party and you utilize that confidence reposed in you against the party, and then it leads to disadvantage of the party.
So it's all about interest then. It's all about interest. But the question is, whose interest? In the instances you mentioned, was it the interest of the president or interest of the party? Because for instance, in Anambra, the candidate in Anambra, Tony Nwoye, and the party in Anambra, the PDP, had its own interest, different from Jonathan's interest in Abuja. So whose interest are we protecting?
No, sometimes is on what I would call overriding political interest and even national interest, as it were. Let's say, for instance, whenever you conduct elections, INEC conducts elections. If the election is a bit maybe where people feel that it was not free and fair, they quickly call the president. Oh, he did not ensure free and fair conduct in this election. He did not ensure this, he did not ensure that. But when it goes well, they forget to also align the same, attribute the same credit to the president. It's okay. This president, despite that his party had an interest, he allowed, a free and fair atmosphere. So sometimes, in overriding national interest, when the systems at the center, of course, they are in control of security and all that, so people naturally believe that they, so when they allow these free and fair elections, they do so. But people don't understand that they also have candidates. Their party have candidates. And recently, you see opposition crying, oh, one party state. The APC government is pushing for one party state. So if the APC goes ahead and wins election, all governorship election and all of them, but assuming the election that was conducted in Anambra recently, the second term election of Chukwuma Soludo,
where the APC aligned with ABGA.
And ABGA won.
So you talked about an overriding interest. I want us to be specific. That overriding interest is the president's interest and not the party's interest.
No. In that kind of election, the first thing that comes to your mind is that democracy is preserved. Right? That is the first thing that comes. Forget about the president's interest now. But Nigerians hate the election because they feel that, opposition was able to win, democracy is thriving, the rule of law election, they are free, becoming free and fair. Assuming APC won that election, it would have taken AIT 1 week analyzing how the federal government influenced that election for APC to win.
Okay, I think we'll have to thank you so much at this stage.
So sometimes people are not able to differentiate this thin line between aligning interest in politics and
anti-party.
What is called anti-party. If, for instance, PDP has a presidential candidate now, I am entrusted in confidence with resources and planning and strategy to deliver the presidential candidate in Bayelsa. And unknown to the party, I am using this confidence and resources against our candidate and in support of another party's candidate. That is anti-party.
Okay, and let's leave it at this place.
But if I tell my party that, gentlemen, please, I did not support this candidate. I do not know how to convince my people about this candidate. Keep your money. I am not going to be part of it.
Okay.
This is where I'm aligning my interest. That is not anti-party. Like what the G5 did in the last presidential election. They clearly told the party, we are not with our candidate.
So, okay, I think you have made a strong point here. It's all about interest.
Thank you.
And we'll see how that goes on. But we'll have to thank you so much, George Turnah, for giving us your time today. Thank you so much for joining.
And just to correct, I am the state chairman of the PDP in Bayelsa State. I used to be zonal secretary of the party in the South Zone, but now elected state chairman of the party.
Congratulations for that. Perhaps one day you become the national chairman. It's quite possible. So it's all about interest. Because in the Anambra scenario, it was Jonathan's interest to work with APGA. But you had Tony Moye, who was the party's candidate.
No.
He will tell you for him it's anti-party.
I recall that when that decision...
when they decided to work with the APC, the AC and the... I'll tell you.
No, there are two different things. It cannot be anti-party if the national executive and members of the party agreed for them to support
At what meeting did they sit to agree?
No, but the one of Anambra State was agreed upon.
What they do is that
I know because I covered
and
that.
The massive followers of the party are not carried away.
Yes, I covered that incident. I covered it.
Of the party is the National Working Committee. So let them take
the National Working Committee. The party executive agreed. It was a decision. The candidate can grumble because nobody wants to be a candidate. You're made to be that weak, or your party does not repose confidence in you. Of course, it's very painful. But they knew that there was no way they stood a chance with that kind of candidate. So they decided to support the person who would help them better. And I covered that. So we have this letter from Angusiong Ugochukwu from Lagos, and it says, Dr. Amechi Anuju, if you believe that Peter Obi will do only one term if he wins, then I have an airport to sell to you. Paper agreement or oral agreement does not make any meaning. There is a viral video where Obi said he would die with ABGA and will never leave. Today, he has crossed paths with 4 political parties. That's desperation and not about the citizens. Jonathan said it. Buhari said it in 2011. Accountability and trust are 2 traits that are deficit in the life of a Nigerian politician. And Peter Obi is not a saint. I agree with your guess that Obi and Kwankwaso are testing the waters for 2031. If Obi cannot fulfill a promise on video, is it a paper signature that he can deny or say is forged? Trust any Nigerian politician at your peril. They should tell us what they want to do differently for us to buy in.
Emmanuel Nkama has written in from Gowon Estate. Gowon Estate is in Lagos, and he says, the ICPC invited Femi Gbajabiamila for a probe that lasted 30 minutes in respect of the alleged fake agency headed by Prince Adeyemi is in order and a step in the right direction. However, what is going to be the outcome of the probe? To me, I don't think that there's anything going to come out of the probe by ICPC, but merely a window dressing, and sadly enough, the case will be jettisoned like every other one that involves the sacred cows of the government in power. Here's calling on the federal government, the ICPC, to ensure that thorough investigation is carried out to unravel the mystery surrounding the scandalous fake agency, the Phantom Director General, and all the people fingered in the whole saga. Let the music play on. The people are listening.
Yes, let the music play on, Lionel Richie's song.
Let the music play on,
play on. Everybody sing, everybody dance. The music of that saga will play on. Who wouldn't get to find out who will be dancing to it? Please don't be a passive listener or viewer. Send mail to us expressing your views and comments through political platform at darkgroup.com, and we'll share it with the rest of us. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Amechi, and we have a good time.